W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Wallow and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here's your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in on a rare Tuesday. Wait, Wallow, as J-Mo just told me, it's Wednesday. No, J-Mo, today's really like Tuesday, because you will never see this again in your lifetime. The date today is 2/2/22. As Doc Flynn put out in a little video this morning. Thank you, Doc. The next time anything like this will ever happen will be March 3rd, 33. None of us will be here for that. How about that? 2/2/22. Groundhog Day, too. We got lots of things going. And I think it's National Girls in Sports Day or something of that nature. I know at the El Marrone Fieldhouse they are celebrating that when Memphis plays Cincinnati in a women's game. And the women, as I mentioned, I gave them a medal earlier this week. They're fun to watch. Hope you can brave the weather, and if it really gets that nasty that early, and head on over to the El Marrone. Winter is about to return, that is for sure, on this Groundhog Day. And by the way, the groundhog saw a shadow. You know what that means?
I can't remember if it's 6 more weeks of winter.
Yes.
Okay.
6 more weeks of winter.
The best meteorologist of our time, I think, that groundhog.
That seems to be the track record that is pretty good. Washington's got a new name. You know, I kind of liked it. I thought they should stay Washington football team. I really did.
I agree.
I don't mind the Commanders, though. It's certainly better than the Cleveland nickname, the Guardians. I never liked that.
That's also the name of a roller derby team in Cleveland. Remember, there was some they were very litigious going after them for that name too. So hopefully, there's not a Washington Commanders already that might sue the former Washington football team.
Wait a second. In Cleveland,
Yeah,
excuse me.
in Cleveland,
There's a roller derby team
called the Guardians, and they tried to sue the formerly the Cleveland Indians, the Cleveland Guardians, for the name change.
Is there still there's a roller derby league still?
I guess so. It seems like it. It was news to
Really?
me as well. It was also news to me.
Wow.
I don't see it telecast.
Who knew? Well, I have a hard time thinking the Guardians are gonna win on this. I mean, heck, the new Guardians, the Major League Baseball team, they ought to just pay them some money. They get good, positive pub on that deal.
I think that's what they did.
Did they?
A little
Okay.
settlement out of court.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Commanders, I kind of like it. I mean, what were you going to do? Senators you can't go back to Senators, right? And that was already a Major League Baseball team. You can't be. What were they going to be? Presidents?
Presidents was one of them.
Yeah, that's Commanders. The Commanders in Chief. I mean, I like it. It's okay. I would have preferred, like all these teams, Memphis 901 FC. I love it. Memphis, you got a little 901 in there. That's the characteristic. And it's football club. Half these teams, the Louisville Football Club, Louisville City, whatever they call it, you identify the city, and it's their soccer team. This would have been the Washington football team. I think they should have stuck with that, personally. Not have any logo on there. Are they going to have a logo for Commanders?
I didn't see a commander. I could be wrong about that. I still just saw the W as part of the logo and then just the script of Commander. But maybe they'll unveil a real logo, a true logo later.
Well, what are you going to have? Like
George Washington.
You're not going to have a Mount Rushmore. That's not part of your state. I mean, what are you going to do? I guess you're just going to have the script.
Or a generic general or something,
Yeah, somebody George Washington looking.
Exactly. There you go.
Maybe. I don't know. Commanders, that is what it will be. Oh, and today is National Signing Day. Did you see, by the way, Lane Kiffin? And I can't wait. Brett Norsworthy is going to join us here in about 15 minutes or so. Did you see what Lane Kiffin said? Lane's been doing a good job with the portal. I think his overall class, like I know in just the high school recruiting, he was 11th in the SEC. But when you put in the transfers, I think like nationally he's 22 or something like that. It's better because he's done a really good job with hitting the portal. He got the quarterback from USC, Jackson Dart. He got the TCU running back who's really good in Zach Evans. I know there's more, but he has likened the portal now with NIL to basically likening it to having different salary caps. Because he says some schools will have 5 to 10 times the money that Ole Miss does in the long run to obtain these basically free agents. I've called it free agency, the portal. And he's taken it a step further, saying that you're basically going to have different schools with so much money that there probably needs to be a salary cap, or each school will cap it to their own liking, and there will be differing advantages for differing schools. He also says, and I believe in this, I've said this for a while, right now a kid can transfer at any time. And he points out, okay, we're having the signing day today. We've already seen the portal, and guys have been plucked from the portal. Wait until after spring football. That's when guys know the guy next to me is better than me. The guy in front of me is better than me. That's when they know if I'm going to play, I got to go. And that's when more people enter the portal. His point, and I think it's true, because everything has seasons, right? We used to have one signing day. It was the second Wednesday, this Wednesday in February every year. Then they decided, and I think it screws up the good teams that are still playing football in their championship games, hoping to end up being in a playoff. That signing day screws those teams up. They are at a disadvantage because they're prepping, while the other schools are sending their coaching staff all over the country to try to get these guys at the last second. And they had this early date, and now they have 2 dates. But there's that season, there's this season, there's transfer season all year long. The NCAA needs to get together. And it's got to be the football playing Power 5 that does this. They're going to be the ones that establish the rules. And they got to say, guys, we're not getting away from NIL. We're not getting away from the portal. That's installed. It's in the player's favor. Let's accept that. But we've got to have some ground rules. And let's start with an easy one. Because the NIL money is such an advantage to those that are rich that you're never going to talk the rich into acquiescing that advantage, in my estimation. But here is where you can start. And that is, let's say this date to this date is when you can enter the portal and players can be accepted in the portal. I mean, you could probably enter the portal whenever you want to, but there's a season when you can accept those athletes going in to the portal into your program. And if you limit that to 3 months, it's probably fair. But now you know there's 3 months. Maybe you should do it after spring ball. Maybe that's when the season should be. But there needs to be some sort of a time slot. Otherwise, coaches are never going to know who's going to be on their team and who's not going to be on their team, what their needs might truly be.
And that's absolutely true. But thinking specifically about the salary cap as well, Lane Kiffin said earlier in the year, talking about what do you do with this money that's being promised to these kids when they do transfer. You know, does it work like a contract? Is it a breach of a contract? Have they been promised money over a longer period of time than just a season? So this is the second time, really, Lane Kiffin's given voice to some of these concerns that I think definitely, like you said, need to be brought up and just lay some ground rules out.
That's it. That are fair to everybody.
Exactly.
Because they're all in the same boat. Now, the NIL money, I don't know where that's going to go. I really don't. And I don't know if they'll end up having a salary cap at some point, but I suspect not. I suspect
probably not,
because the money is supposed to go directly from the sponsor to the kid. Shouldn't matter. That's the kid's ability to make money. So I don't see how you're ever going to put a cap on that. And those that are in areas that have more money, from alums or businesses are going to be the ones that will have the advantage. Lane Kiffin is spot on. And, he says to work these things out, look to see what the NFL does, because the NFL's done this for a long time. They're pretty good at what they do.
Seems like he might be making a dig at other schools in his league, too, a little bit.
He could be, but, that's the way Kiffin operates. And he did get two of the best of the portal. I mean, when you're talking about the position and two critical positions, a guy who can run and a guy who can lead a team and throw the ball, he seemed to have prospered very well. We'll talk with Brett Norsworthy about that in a little bit. Got to get to a few things here. Brian Flores in the NFL, speaking of teams that do well. So he's now sued the NFL. He has sued Miami. He has sued Denver. And he has sued the New York Giants. This is amazing to me. Lawyers can do this, though. Do you know how long this class action suit is? How many pages?
58 pages.
58 pages.
I read it yesterday.
You read all 58 pages?
Yeah, I did.
Seriously?
I did.
You read all 58 pages? I salute you, J-Mo.
I'm not a lawyer. There's certain sections that, I don't understand the lingo necessarily to the fullest extent, or even what Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1960, whatever is. But I did read the whole thing.
I'm very impressed and good. So you can share your insights maybe better than I can. I know this. If some of these allegations are true, Stephen Ross, who is the owner of the Miami Dolphins, has got some problems. Because according to Brian Flores, and he states this in his suit against the Dolphins and the NFL, that the owner of the Dolphins, Ross, offered him money to tank games so they could improve their draft position in 2019 to the tune of $100,000 per loss. And Flores said, no, thank you. Flores also was asked by the owner, according to Flores, to tamper with another team's quarterback. And in fact, the owner invited Flores to his yacht, and Flores did not know that quarterback would be there for a meeting with the owner and the coach. And when Flores saw the quarterback, he turned around and left. So tampering, paying to lose, these are things that would make you think the NFL would want to lose that owner if these indeed are true. The New York Giants interviewed him just to satisfy the Rooney Rule. That's part of the allegations in the lawsuit. He uses texts from Bill Belichick, who was actually congratulating Brian Daboll, who got the job, the Buffalo OC, got that job because in his phone book, according to Belichick, there's two Brians, right? One's D, one's B. Or F, excuse me. And he hit the wrong guy. But basically intonating that Belichick knew that Daboll was getting the job and that Flores never had a chance. It was already in the works. They just did that to satisfy the Rooney Rule. He alleges the same thing with Denver, and in that, and this is when Elway was the general manager, says they were late, disheveled, like they'd been out drinking all night. Not a good look for Denver, which, by the way, is up for sale. Do you see what they're saying they're going to get for that?
Oh, I
minimum of $4 billion.
That's incredible.
And that's the Denver market, minimum of $4 billion now to be in the National Football League. Flores agrees that he is putting his career in jeopardy, but he wants to do this in order for other African Americans to get real opportunities instead of these fake ones. And the lawyers for Flores are saying, anybody else want to join in on the class action suit? Because we know there are several of you out there. And that is the truth. The Rooney Rule, I might have said this earlier. I know there was a great discussion that Eli and Greg had, and I can't remember who it was with. And, of course, you can't solve this problem. The owners have to figure all this out. And the owners are going to hire who they want to hire, who they have faith in or relationships with that they think can win for them. The Rooney Rule has the greatest of intention. And what my hope is that there are some candidates out there, maybe Brian Flores the first time with Stephen Ross, where He really didn't know the guy, so he got to know him, and Flores wowed him, and he hired him. And that, to me, is the intention. At least you get a chance to try to sell yourself to a particular entity. But for the most part, it is true what Flores says. They are just having to go through an act in order to satisfy that particular stipulation in the CBA, and they have no intention of really hiring that particular candidate. And that is sad, and I don't truly know what the answer is. I do think the intention is to at least get you in front of somebody to make your pitch, and that is good. But not much good other than that has come from it. Last thing today has to do with Emoni Bates. Just when it looked like things might be returning to normalcy for the U of M, it looks like you're going to get back Nolly. It looks like you're going to get back Williams. Looks like you're going to get back Duren. I don't think Hardaway is going to be back yet. He's that bone bruise on his knee is bad. Looks like you're getting all these guys back. And all of a sudden, now here's Emoni Bates, who did go down hard a few times. If you'll recall, I talked a little bit about, in my estimation, the best usage of Bates would be as a catch-and-shoot shooter or as a guy, because he does have a bit of a handle for a guy as tall as he is and as skinny and without weight as he is. I mean, I'm not saying he's – like Penny sees a lot of him in him. Penny was quicker. Penny was craftier. Penny played under control. But what this guy can do, because his handle is good enough, is to take one or two dribbles into a spot in mid-range game, elevate, because he can jump a bit, and he's got picture-perfect form if he's in control, and release it from inside the paint. So shoot threes, uncatch and shoot, manage to get open mid-range, and use your height advantage in your form to knock down mid-range jumpers. That's what he can do. Not the greatest defender. Part of that is because he is skinny. He has very little weight. He has very little muscle at this time. If you look at his calves, if you look at his arms, he looks like a kid who's 17, just turned 18. He can't finish because he's not strong enough. And he's gone down hard a few times. So maybe there really is a back issue from this. It's mysterious to me because he practiced on Tuesday. He gave out shoes. What did he give, 12 pair of shoes yesterday? Yeah, now he's got an NIL deal with Nike, right?
And he posted on his story saying, so I'm assuming that's yesterday, but I guess the timetable could be any. But it seemed pretty clear it was yesterday. It was posted yesterday.
Yeah, okay. In the last couple of days, he practiced with his team. This was not last week. He practiced with his team, and he gave them shoes. Now, is this a goodbye present? Or is this, I'm still with y'all. Yeah. I'm just injured. And he's going to Ypsilanti to see I guess, a doctor he's more familiar with to find out what's really wrong with the back. 3 weeks with the back? I've watched him move. I'm having a hard time digesting that one.
And I believe he also said that the school was the one that recommended this particular specialist or doctor.
And you know what? I'm not saying that's not the case.
But that's what he said.
That's the first time I've heard, and I've been around this program since 1986 on a regular basis. First time I've heard of a connection with a doctor in Ypsilanti. But maybe so. It's possible. That's for sure. But we know this now. You're not going to see Bates in Cincinnati unless I get incredibly surprised today on the team plane heading to the Queen City. It does not look like Bates will be a part of the matchup. And that's a shame because actually I think maybe his best collegiate game was against Cincinnati. I forget what points he had in there, but I recall he had like 5 assists without a turnover. He did not do silly things, spinning out of control into the paint to get knocked down. I mean, nothing like that. That was his best game, and so that's too bad. But apparently he will not be able to go. Really, 2 quick notes. Jake Elliott makes the Pro Bowl. How about that? Do you realize his career, and I'm thinking about the kickers this year, because Memphis has had great kickers going back to Joe Allison. who was the first one to ever win the Groza Award. And you had Gotti, and you had Jake, and you've had a bunch of good guys all the way through. This is like a 20-year run of good guys until last year, where the freshman got hurt, and then I think his feelings got hurt, and it wasn't so good. Do you realize in Jake Elliott's career as a Tiger, he never missed an extra point?
It's a chip
for
shot in
his
college.
career. He was 202 of 202. Never missed an extra point. He had 81 field goals, 445 points. That's number one scoring Tiger of all time when it comes to football. This year he was 30 of 33. And guess what? Didn't miss an extra point.
There you go.
44 of 44.
He wants those points.
That's great. I'm so happy for him. I really am. And finally, before we take our first time out and bring in Brett Norsworthy from Sports Time with Brett and Gabe, I meant to mention this really on Monday, but this area lost a great one, Bob Stevenson, who played for the U of M in the late 50s, coached in the 60s at the U of M as an assistant, then went to what was then CBC, Christian Brothers College, made it CBU, was their athletic director for 20, 30 years, was just an incredible act of class all the way. He himself built most of all the facilities for athletics at now CBU. What a loss to the community, but what a great life lived. He was 90 years old. And I know guys like Charlie Leonard, who he taught, and that legacy is carried on. Of course, now Charlie has retired. But there were a lot of great people that Bob helped along. He was the perfect example of a life well lived. To his family, our thoughts and our prayers and our gratitude for having a guy like Bob Stevenson in this community for as long as we had him. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Floor model sale still going on. I know we're going to get another sale here soon. And I remind you, like on the pools and on the spas, the discounted price that you're getting from the floor model sale on some things, they're actually giving you that same discount on new stuff. You got to go. You got to get to I-40 and Wooden Road because the sales are really good in the winter. I promise. Tell them we sent you. Family Leisure, floor model sale, and where family and fun all come together. Brett Norsworthy is on the other side.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's a new year. That means it's time for a floor model sale at Family Leisure. You can help Family Leisure make room for all the new 2022 products that are coming in. All floor models are priced to move right now. If it's on the floor, it's on sale. But you better hurry to get these special savings because once these floor models are gone, folks, they're gone. We're talking theater seating, massage chairs, arcades, foosball and hockey tables, all on sale. Shuffleboard tables, pool tables, they're on sale too. Plus, there's so much more on sale. And you can get New Year's deals on spas and swimming pools as well. Family Leisure needs the room for new inventory. So what's here has got to go. You can help them. The floor model sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Happy New Year from our good friends at Family Leisure.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell here at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. You know it's February, and that's the month to show your love. The question is, how are you going to let your most special lady know how much you care about her? It doesn't matter if your favorite girl has been your wife for 47 years, or if you're just getting started with a relationship that you hope has real possibilities. Since 1985, Memphis gentlemen have been coming to Russell Brothers Jewelers to pick out that perfect gift for their sweethearts. gifts, young men and older fellas alike. A ring or a bracelet, earrings or a pendant. Jewelry is always the best choice for her. Much better than candy that will be eaten in 3 days or flowers that will be tossed out within a week. Come see us at Russell Brothers. Let us gift wrap a present that will keep her smiling for a long time, and it's a present that tells her you care enough to give her the very best. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, that's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. Fiveash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Are you overworked and underpaid in that employment rut with no promotion in sight, or did you just lose your job? Then you need to contact the experts at ProResume. Go to ProResume.biz or call 685-1950, the fastest way to a new job.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again, it's the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
You know, Homer is our title and presenting sponsor. So proud to have them with us for so long. And let me tell you what Chris True likes to say. You will never pay more than sticker price. There are some dealerships these days with the shortage of new cars that are taking sort of advantage. Not at Homer, where I think they've set the bar for excellence in the car business. They've set the standard. Get on Lamar into Mississippi. Turn left at exit number 1 on Highway 78, Craft Road, and you will have arrived at Homer Skelton Hyundai. So, breaking news before we get to Brett Norsworthy. The Memphis game with Cincinnati has been postponed. Weather. And because of that, the game has been rescheduled for February the 15th. So the traveling party will now be leaving on Valentine's Day, which I know my wife is just going to love hearing that news. My other love of life, Brett Norsworthy, joins me now. Former partner in another life. How are you?
Always partners. How are you, Dave?
Good. I'm packed. Wouldn't you know it? I actually packed early.
What a year.
Holy cow. Well, I guess that.
What it lasts 2 years.
That takes care of my idea to get, because Louisville had an off week on that February 12th, too. Paul Rogers and I were really trying to book that game. Now we'll be playing Cincinnati, which isn't too far from Louisville. Incredible. No. It's a crazy year.
It has been, this afternoon, Missouri and Florida, it's been moved to 2 o'clock this afternoon. What kind of crowd are you going to have at 2 o'clock in Columbia this afternoon with the weather really blowing it, across the country, and we're going to get it. And, I'm prepared.
I know you're prepared.
Rock salt ready.
I know you are. There's no question about that. You've probably You've done your walk today because you know the weather is going to be bad. You're not going to want to go after your show. You've already got it in, right?
Got the miles already in. Already got the rock salt shovel and broom on the back porch mobilized, ready for Ice Storm 2022.
Just be careful with the shoveling, because the majority of
last year.
No. Listen, this year, the
death,
majority of the deaths
pulled a muscle last year
from the blizzards last week. The majority of the percentage, I don't remember the number, but it came from shoveling snow. People get out there, they think, it's snow.
Fat people like me that aren't in shape, yeah.
There you go. No, you're not anymore. All that walking. Come on. Tell me about the shape of Ruffin. Here's your McDonald's All-American just coming back. Did not play in the Memphis game. Playing his heart out in the LSU defeat last night. Can you believe Ole Miss beat them?
Played great.
And then down he
goes.
goes.
I couldn't. Got out to a 24-point lead, and that injury looked terrible. I mean, it looked hyperextended. It just buckled under him. Then he put a lot of weight on it and tried to come back in. Post-game, Coach Kermit Davis said with David Kellum that he was trying to go back in, but out of an abundance of caution, they're going to have the MRI this morning. I haven't heard anything conclusively this morning, but it didn't look good, and it feels like they're close to getting Jarkel Joyner back and have Ruffin kind of in a good patch. Played so well Saturday. I went to the Kansas State game on Saturday. He played really well there. Good floor general and good 3-point shooter, and then have that injury, but got out to that 24-point lead and then just had to hang on for dear life. That only scored 5 buckets in the second half and won. Only 5 made buckets.
Well, in defense of Kermit Davis, and I know he's getting a lot of heat, and I tend to side with coaches, but I've watched Kermit Davis be a really good coach elsewhere. I know his defensive tactics and how hard his teams play, and I don't know that a lot of players really in this day and age like to play that kind of style and play with that kind of effort. But in defense of Kermit Davis, let me just say, he lost the Allen kid, right, in the Memphis game.
Sure did.
That was their big guy. He's
not right in front of the Memphis bench.
Right. He's not
right in front near your broadcast position.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it was one of those, like these non-contact ones, they're the worst. When that happens, you know there's a problem.
They're hurt.
Then he lost Joyner. Now he didn't have Ruffin most of the time. Now he may have lost Ruffin for a while again. I hope the kid can come back because he's clearly a terrific player. But he's had 3 guys who will be starters not play for the majority of the year. And I'm sorry, you're in a tough league, and without 3 major weapons, how good can you be? And he still is able to manufacture a win against the top 25 on the road. And I think he actually absolutely outcoached Will Wade in that game.
Yeah, he got the best of him last night. But 4th year, I agree with everything you said about this year in the injury situation. But 4th year and only been to 1 NCAA tournament and got blasted in the first round that year by Oklahoma. It has people very restless in a time, Dave, that it's the best opportunity. He took the Ole Miss basketball job when it was in the best shape for somebody taking over in school history. Not playing at Tadpad, playing it at the Pavilion.
Right.
The basketball practice facility funded by Sean and Leanne Toohey. The budget for recruiting, the budget for travel, how they eat, how they house. It was the best time ever to take over, and he has had a lot of obstacles this year. But 4th year, he's going to get next year. He should. He signed he signed a new deal last fall. So he's got a fresh 3 years tacked on to the current year. In Mississippi State law, max is 4.
Right.
So he's going to be fine. But next year, all things being equal, if you had another, dearth of or a lot of injuries, if you had a dearth of injuries would be best for him. But he's got to win next year because that'll be year 5 and only 1 tournament and too many Wednesday night appearances at the SEC tournament. And, Dave, that Wednesday night at the SEC, that's 11 versus 14 and 12 versus 13. If you're there too often, you need to be changing coaches.
Well, he's going to be there this year. I don't see any way around that one at this point.
Georgia's going to be there as well, and Georgia will change coaches after this year with Tom Crean. And Dave, it makes me wonder, where will Andy Kennedy pop up? Yesterday when I mentioned Andy Kennedy, my Wi-Fi wanted to go out. We'll see if it causes it 2 days in a row. Yesterday afternoon when I mentioned Andy Kennedy on our show. But Andy Kennedy rolling along at UAB, and would he be interested in something like Georgia? Would he be interested in something like South Carolina? The latter, I think, the lesser, because of his friendship with Frank Martin. I don't think he would want to be real or perceived, viewed as doing Frank Martin like that, because they are really tight. But I think Frank Martin's at the end, too, after just getting blasted last night in Starkville, but Mississippi State, that they have to finish strong down the stretch of the year. And I don't think Andy Kennedy's name's going to pop up at Starkville, even though he was reared not too far from Starkville.
Andy Kennedy can flat out coach. I think we knew that when he was at Cincinnati. We knew that at Ole Miss. I think he's the winningest coach in the history of Ole Miss, right? Isn't he?
Oh, by light years now. It will never get touched. That will never get touched. And next week in the Super Bowl, here's one. When people talk about records that will never be broken, here's one. John Riggins, 38 rushing attempts. Nobody's ever going to run the ball 38 times on Super Bowl Sunday again.
That and the aforementioned Sean Tui, his assist record will never be broken.
Never get touched because, one, nobody wants to pass the ball. Right. Two, nobody's going to play 4 years.
Right, exactly. Or if you're good. Yeah. Crazy. I'll tell you, here's another one. I mentioned this earlier because Jake Elliott made the All-Pro Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Gabe's really proud of his old teammate.
You can't beat this. You cannot beat this. Extra points, 202 of 202. That'll never get beaten.
That's amazing. That's just so rock steady.
202 of 202.
Well, he was Automatica in all the touchbacks too. And Dave, you have, for as long as I have listened to you, well before I knew you, but even as long as I have now known you, you have been the third of the game advocate of special teams and how important they are. And people don't realize that touchback, it just takes the drama out, and it takes some physicality out. The potential of somebody being hurt is taken out.
Yep. No, yeah, he was amazing. First of all, think about that. In his career, while there were 202 touchdowns scored. Like, how many guys are going to have a chance to kick 202 extra points?
That was a lot of touchdown calls by the old voice of.
Oh, yeah. Those were fun. Those were really, really fun times. All right, before we run out of time, Lane Kiffin, man, he's got to be fun to work with, Brett, because he's always saying interesting things in this newest.
He's straight as a pin to us, too. He's been great to us.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's interesting. He doesn't lie. He said he loves to give the needle, and I like that. And you know, he's right here. Some schools are going to have 5 to 10 times the amount of NIL money that he's going to have. He knows that, even though he's been able to get maybe the top quarterback and the top running back in the portal. He's done well there. How long will that last? But in my opinion, the best insight he gave was, because you're not going to be able to legislate NIL or make that more equitable for everybody across the board. But what you can do is set up a time frame on what the free agency is, of when you can either enter the portal,
some parameters,
or at least exit the portal to a team. That you can legislate. When a guy can leave the portal, when a team can accept a player, and there needs to be a window there. Otherwise, coaches are going to be stuck without ever knowing who's really going to be on their team and who's not.
Well, and roster construction is already a work in progress, and it takes almost a full-time staff. All those analysts that we hear about, that's what they're doing, and a lot of them are scouring other teams' rosters to cherry pick. But you know, a lot of fans are saying, "Cry me a river." A&M's always going to have a lot more than everybody else. But he was digging at Jimbo because Lane Kiffin last year, I think more than maybe the bowl game in Tampa with all of his dad's friends and all their Tampa St. Pete friends. I think Lane Kiffin wanted that A&M game in November in Oxford as much as any game since he's been at Ole Miss. I mean, he took that one seriously, kind of played a little rope-a-dope in the week or two before it with setting people out with injuries and getting everybody really healthy. And to win that game 29-19, that's about as happy as I've seen him after a game.
Well, it's a fun experience just to watch him. In fact, he took on the being the guest picker and everything else. He's just an innovative guy.
He's really only missed once. The one time he's kind of overloaded was pregame with the CBS reporter when he said, "Grab your popcorn," and then Ole Miss had a dud of a day. But he backed it up the rest of the year. And got his defense playing well the rest of the year, and now it looks like it's going to be strong next year with all the people out of the portal. You know, it's going to be a new team.
It is. That's the way of the world now, my friend. Especially basketball. I mean, it's incredible. the way basketballs work. Like Mark Adams, the guy that took over for Chris Beard at Texas, at
what a
Texas
job.
Tech. What a job. Do you know how many newcomers he's got on that team?
I think 6.
8. 8 newcomers. It's incredible. And then they were mean to Chris Beard in Lubbock.
It was vile. They were mean to our friend Craig Way in the bus riding in. I've never heard of having a police escort to shoot around on the morning of the game.
I got to get Craig Way on for that. That's a great
You
idea.
do have
I've
to
thought
get Craig
about it.
on.
I'm going to try to do that for tomorrow. As always, my friend,
And Chris Beard can really coach too.
Oh, well, yeah. Even though like Frank Martin makes me wonder, because I don't know what's happened there, but I always think it's the coach, not the place. And Mike DeCourcy and I were having this very discussion yesterday. I mean, John Calipari can win anywhere. There's no doubt. Mike Krzyzewski could have won anywhere.
He'd win at Glanville State.
Yeah, Bill Self can win anywhere, right? It's the coach over
win
the
at
school
Trebek
in
and
this
Nazarene.
day and age. So I don't know what happened to Frank Martin because he took a ragtag team 2 years ago or 3 years ago and got to the Final Four.
Rick Pitino can win anywhere.
Oh, yeah,
and
there's
he's
no
doing
question. He is.
What AD is bold enough? Here's a good one for you. I'll get out. I know you're short on time. You're trying to get me going. Who's the AD that takes the flyer on either Rick Pitino or Greg Marshall? I'll leave you with that.
Greg Marshall's got a chance. I really think Pitino is he's 70 years old. He's probably okay where he is. I don't know that he wants another run. I think he loves it where he is.
Would Missouri take a chance at him?
Who?
If Missouri has to move on from Konzo, would Missouri take a chance at Rick Pitino?
Well, if I think they'd have to sweet talk him into going. But, there is that Walmart money. There is some enticement that could be done.
That's really where it all started. It started there before Fayetteville.
Yeah.
With the Waltons.
Yeah, it sure did. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. We'll do this again. I'll do it next Tuesday with you, with Gabe.
Can't wait.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
That is my friend, Brett Norsworthy. He's brought to you in part by the good folks at Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, what they're doing now is giving you a free furnace. This happens every January and February. It gets slow. They're trying to spark business. They give away stuff. They give you a gas furnace if you buy a standard Carrier air conditioning system, state-of-the-art. And it's so affordable. And John's throwing in a bunch of stuff. He's giving you $2,000 in savings with a April air cleaner, a 10-year parts warranty, and a brand-new, state-of-the-art, free Nest thermostat. But here's the other part. He's going to offer you this system for as low as $139 a month or 12 months interest-free. Anybody could do that. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511, Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We pause for just a second. When we come back, Jarvo from Action News 5. He's on the way.
Former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn joins Brett Norsworthy for Sports Time on Sports 56, presented by Lexus of Memphis. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For years, I have talked to you about James Davis, the finest men's store in all of Memphis, the service, the selection, everything that goes with quality. And I've told you recently about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. Well, now there's the Stant Perfect Fit pants. Absolutely amazing. Only 2 measurements fed into a computer, and all of a sudden, you've got the perfect fit pants. I'm talking everywhere. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to fit your body absolutely perfectly. And there's 80 different fabrics to choose from. You will find the right look, the right fit, almost instantaneously. They start at $162, but you will never find a better pair of pants than these at James Davis Men's Store. And the shirts are still there, and guess what? It's the only place in Memphis that you can find Stant. That's the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
She's a good. Final segment on this, what will become maybe a wintry Wednesday. Already the news is in. The Tigers game with Cincinnati postponed. It will now take place in the Queen City on February the 15th. They are definitely expecting bad weather. You can go see the Lady Tigers tonight, though. They'll be playing at home at the Elmer Road. In the meantime, we always bring in our friend Jarvis Greer. And your quick thoughts on all the drama this year with the U of M and now this Bates situation with the back.
There's no quick thoughts you can have. It's like
a
big, how you do a word bubble in a comic book, it's like above my head a big question mark or a big WTF. It's all I could say. It's like the Washington football team. You just transpose the letters. But I don't know. I don't know. But at least you don't have to worry about him not playing this next game because they're not going to play the next game, at least not until February 15th. That means no road trip for you, Dave. How are you going to handle that?
Well, no, it means on the 15th. I'll be traveling on the 14th now, which is Valentine's Day, which now I got to cancel the reservations that I have, but that'll open up the door for somebody. Anyway, that's just the way it's going in 2021-22. We still have COVID, right? And we still have pauses.
Yeah.
Memphis was going to try to make up a game in that time slot anyway. Now there's not going to be a makeup game. And at least this is not COVID, right? This is strictly weather, and they're fearful of a layer of ice that could be a half an inch thick. So
nobody's doing anything tonight.
And
you're not going outside.
No, and I'll say this too. They actually had texted us in preparation for this trip saying, bring extra clothes just in case we have trouble getting out. Yeah. So they were already worried about it, and this is probably the smartest thing to do. They got a game on Saturday too, right? So it's a quick turnaround Thursday to Saturday. And so, the
team that was going to try to come up there Thursday, us, would probably not even have a chance to get out of there till Saturday.
That could have been the case.
Cold.
Right.
It's not like it's going to ice up and then go away immediately. No, this is going to stick around for a minute. It's rather not travel in this kind of way. Rather not do it. That's a smart thing for them to do.
I must say.
But as far as the Amani Bates deal is concerned, it's like what else can happen? What else can go on? And his father had come out and said he's not leaving the team. And some people were saying that he posted a picture on Instagram of him giving his
shoes,
extra shoes to his teammates. Some people are trying to say that's like a parting gift. Well, I don't know. I think he's still happy here from all indications that I've been getting. His play has been up and down, but what can you expect from a guy who just turned 18, a couple of days ago?
Right.
So I don't it's just a big soap opera. Everything has just been a drama attached to this and drama attached to that, and it is tiring and it is exhausting, but it is part and parcel of what's happened this season. It'd be great to cheer for having a normal season. Also cheer for Precious Achua making the Rising Stars Challenge.
How about that? Yeah.
That's a big deal.
How about that? Would you, if I had said to you 2 years ago, Precious Achua will make Rising Stars, James Wiseman won't, what would you have said?
I would have said that, well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But given the fact that James has been injured and Precious has not, Precious is a good player. And he learned to play, more with his back to the bucket at Memphis because he has to, because James left the program after all of that business with the NCAA, and it afforded him well. So
Precious never gets drafted if Wiseman plays, because he got those numbers because there was nobody else.
Yeah,
that's
true.
my
I don't know if
estimation.
he wouldn't have gotten drafted. Now.
I
don't know if he wouldn't have gotten drafted because he is a talent.
He would have ended up getting drafted, Jarvo, but it would not have been that year. He would not have had the numbers to do it because Wiseman would have gotten those numbers.
Well, Wiseman would have gotten those numbers. And all those people saying Wiseman's a bust, the only reason you can say he's a bust is because he hasn't played because of the injury, and it's kind of the same injury that Jaren Jackson Jr. had. That one where they decided to go ahead and do surgery on the cartilage, which is a longer rehab. But, when he played well. He had a couple of up and down games, but for the most part, he was doing really well. And, Draymond Green was always in his ear, giving him pointers to do this and that. And the guy's like a sponge. He listens. And
he was yelling at him a lot is what Draymond Green was doing.
Well,
but it would have paid off. It would have paid off. I think so. The jury is way still out on James Wiseman. Yeah. We only wish him the best. I was thinking of you earlier this morning when I read the story about Jake Elliott. What's the first thing that came into my mind when I read about Jake?
First thing came into your mind, that 56-yard field goal he hit in the Miami Beach Bowl. That's the first thing came into my mind.
No, the first
and I also
thing
wanted to
I
loan me $1 from his first contract.
What? The first thing that came into my mind was the birth of your very often used line.
He's getting pretty good at that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first
He's
thing.
getting good at that. Well, he was the first one I used that on because he was really good at that. He's still one of the best ever.
Well, he 202 for 202. Nobody's going to beat that record when it comes to extra points. 202 because nobody's. I don't think anybody's ever going to get 202 extra points to kick.
Well, I don't know now. That's a lot. They scored a lot, didn't they? Well, I mean, with Seth Hennigan, or Grant Gunnell, they could score a lot again. Today is National Signing Day, and they're bringing in some pretty good numbers and some pretty good kids. So we'll see how that works. That transfer from Northern Illinois really is intriguing. The running back,
he's good.
He's
freshman
good.
of the year.
He's real deal.
Oh yeah,
he's real deal. So that'll help, and it'll only help for the other guys that are there.
All right,
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Last thing, real quick. I'm gonna change gears, but we only got about a minute. You mentioned the Rising Stars. Desmond Bane makes it. Now there's a chance Triple J gets in as a reserve for injured players in the front court on the Western Conference. It's really down to him and Karl Anthony Towns. One guy plays great defense. One guy's numbers on offense are much better. Who makes it, Jarvo? Hard one for you.
Well, I'd have to say, just given what all that Karl Anthony Towns has done and what all he's been through, I think that he gets it. I believe if you look at the way he's played and the fact that Minnesota is getting much, much better, and they're getting some playoff consideration now. I think Cat gets it over Jaren Jackson Jr. I'd love to see Jaren get in there, but
me too.
If you look at it, those numbers are just you can't stop those numbers. Even though Jaren now he leads the league in blocks, and he's also like a true unicorn. He's the only one to have all those blocks and all those threes, and in the same season, it's amazing what he's doing. He's starting to live up to his potential.
And more W's for the Grizz over the Timberlakes. But the Timberlakes are improved, no question about it. Jarvo, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you. We'll do it again next week. Jarvis Career from Action News 5. Brought to you by Old Dominic. That's Another unicorn kind of a place, I think, because if you look, log cabin looks so small, go inside, it'll wow you. They got all the product you need. They got the rare bourbons. They got the up-and-comers, like some great wines. They have bargains, middle of the road, or even some that you're going, wow, look at that price. Eddie Connor Special, he'll educate you about spirits while you're in there. And if you're looking for something unique, like a special rim for a mixologist cocktail, they've got it. If you're looking for special chips, if you're looking for a local IPA, if you're looking for Old Dominick, they got it. It's really terrific. There's no question about it. And we just love the combination of Old Dominick and the Spirit Shop. That'll do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be in studio tomorrow. I thought I'd come from Cincinnati. Johnny Radio comes your way next.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gaston for FanDuel.